Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so we are all welcome to our grammar lessons in النحو الواضح في قواعد اللغة العربية. Okay, النحو الواضح, that is easy grammar, clear grammar in the laws of Arabic language. النحو الواضح في قواعد اللغة العربية. We are on the topic الفاعل. Now we've known what a present, how the divisions of a verb. We've also learned that we have a present tense verb, we have a past tense verb, and then we have an imperative verb, that is the command form, the command verb. Now we are going to learn what a fa'il is. And I prefer to translate a fa'il as a doer instead of a subject. I think some books do translate it as subject. But because there is also mubtada, which is a subject in a nominal sentence, I don't know, I prefer to say a doer, and I think a doer translates the fa'il for me better. So I prefer to say the doer. The doer here in Arabic, we mean the one doing the action of the verb. Because since we've studied verb, we need to study how do we relate, how do we deal with the noun that represents the one doing the action. Okay, let's get to action. Let's النحو الواضح explain to us what the doer in Arabic language is. Al-amthila, as usual, examples. Tara, example number 1. Tara al-usfuru. Tara means to fly. Al-usfuru is a bird, as this is sparrow, but a bird. The bird flew. Example number 2. Jara al-hisanu, jara to run. Al-hisan, horse, so the horse ran. La'iba al-waladu, la'iba al-waladu, the boy played. La'iba, to play. Number 4. Ya'umu as-samaku. This word is very necessary. Ya'umu, from ama ya'umu, to float on a liquid or to swim. It's all right, either to float or to swim, it's all fine. Ya'umu as-samaku, the fish is swimming or the fish is floating. Number 5. Yalsa'u, from the verb lasa'a. Lasa'a, to stinge. To stinge, I think that is the perfect word for, because the action here is to stinge or to pierce or to cause harm, to cause hurt to something. That is lasa'a. So when it's related to mosquito, al-ba'un is mosquito. So the mosquito stinged or pierced or bit. Ayo. Yalsa'u al-ba'un. Lasa'a is from the verb lasa'a. Okay. Ta'akulu, ta'akulu al-bintu. The girl is eating. Ta'akulu al-bintu. The girl is eating. I hope all the examples are clear. Tara al-usfuru, the bird flew. Jara al-hisanu, the horse ran. La'ib al-waladu, the boy played. Ya'umu as-samaku, the fish is floating. Yalsa'u al-ba'udu, the mosquito is biting or stinging. Ta'akulu al-bintu, the girl is eating. Now, that is that with the examples he's going to use to explain to us what is meant by al-fa'il in Arabic language. Let's go to al-bahs, explanation. Now, he tells us now the system of this book is that it repeats the style and language. So if you do a few topics, later you realize that you're able to read the subsequent topics on your own. Few things may be challenging, but it's very easy dealing with this book. That's why he names it النحو الواضح, a very plain grammar. Okay. Al-amthilatu as-sabiqatu, the previous examples, kulluha jumalun, all of them are sentences. Jumal, the plural of jumla. I think we've already seen this. Wa kullu jumlatin, and each sentence. And let's note this: wherever you see the word kullu, the noun that comes after it takes kesra, becomes genitive. It acts as a preposition. Okay. Wa kullu jumlatin, and each sentence, minha, among these examples that we've seen, tatakawwanu min. Now tatakawwanu min is the same as tatarakkabu min or murakkabatun min, as we've already seen. Tatakawwanu min is made up of. تتكون من is made up of فعل واسم من فعل is made up of a verb واسم and a noun. So all the sentences that we've just seen, you find a verb and you find a noun. وإذا بحثنا, and if we should search في الأمثلة الثلاثة, in the three examples, al-ula, the first three examples. Now the first three examples, this is what it means. This 1, 2, 3. This is what he means. إذا بحثنا في الأمثلة الثلاثة الأولى, if we search in the first three examples, نرى أن الذي, we see أن الذي طار, that the one who flew, هو العصفور, is the bird. See that the one who did the flying is the bird. وَالَّذِي جَرَى, and the one that ran, هُوَ الْحِصَانُ, is the horse. وَالَّذِي لَعِبَ, and the one that played, هُوَ الْوَلَدُ, is the boy. When we look at the first three sentences, that's what it tells us. فَيَكُونُ الْعُصْفُورُ هُوَ الَّذِي فَعَلَ الطَّيَرَانِ. فَيَكُونُ الْعُصْفُورُ, so the bird becomes the one that did the flying. الطيران is flying. والحصان, and the horse, هو الذي فعل الجري. الجري is the verbal noun of jara, to run. That is the verbal noun, what we call masdar. الطيران is also the verbal noun of طار. Okay. So we have some verbal nouns here. We have الطيران, flying, for tar, to fly. Al-jari, for jara, to run. So here running. Al-la'ib, playing. So he says, وَالْوَلَدُ هُوَ الَّذِي فَعَلَ اللَّعِبَ, and the boy is the one that did the playing. وَلِذَلِكَ, and so due to that, يُسَمَّى كُلُّ وَاحِدٍ. So here, even though the kasra here in my copy, there's no kasra, I know that it's a ruling that whenever I see kullu, what comes after it, I should give a kasra. So even though it's not here, I'll read it with kasra. So I say kullu wahidin min hazihi al-asma, each one among these names, asma is salas, among these three names, yusamma is called fa'ilan, it's called fa'il. That is what is called fa'il, the doer. Some who says the subject, it shouldn't be confusing for us. وكذلك وكذا, likewise, يقال في بقية الأمثلة, likewise is said in the remaining examples. وكذا أي وكذلك, that is the short form, and such is said in the remaining examples. وإذا نظرنا إلى كل اسم في الأمثلة السابقة, and if we look at all the nouns, if you look at كل اسم, each noun, في الأمثلة السابقة, in the previous examples, وجدناه, we find it مسبوقا بفعل, preceded with a verb. So all the nouns in the sentences, if you look at it, you realize that it is preceded with a verb. Let's practically look at this quickly and come back. We have al-usfur is a noun, it is preceded with a verb, tar. Al-hiswan is a noun, preceded with jara. Al-waladu, preceded with la'ib. If you come to the second three examples, you find the same thing. As-samaku, then you find ya'um. Al-ba'udu, you find yalsa'u. Al-bintu, you find the ta'kulu precedes. So whenever the verb, all the nouns in the sentences are preceded, that is what we say masbuqan, preceded. This vocabulary keeps repeating itself in the book, so we need to keep it. So وَجَدْنَاهُ مَسْبُوقًا بِفِعْلٍ, we find it preceded by a verb. وَوَجَدْنَا, and we find آخِرَهُ مَرْفُوعًا, we find its ending being marfu'. You find the ending of the noun being marfu'. What we mean by marfu', in English we say nominative case. It's in the nominative case. In grammar we have the accusative case, the nominative case, the jussive case, and the genitive case. 4 cases. So in Arabic we will say mansub or we say first marfu', which is nominative case, mansub, accusative case, majrur, genitive case, and then majzum, that is the jussive case. Now, let me explain this simply. When we say marfu', basically, we mean a word ending in dhamma. When we say marfu', we mean a word ending in dhamma, basically. When we say mansub, we mean a word ending in fatha. When we say majrur, we mean a word ending in kasra. When we say majzum, a word ending in sukun. This is basically what it is about. But we will keep expanding as we go on. So here it says wajadna akhirahu. We find the ending of these nouns being marfu'an, being dhamma. And practically, truly, so you can look at the copy you have. Definitely, the ending of the nouns should be dhamma. When you look at it, you find dhamma, all the nouns are like that. All the nouns are like that. All the nouns have the dhamma, practically. Okay. So realize that the nouns that come after the verb all are having dhamma, and in that case we say they are marfu'. Okay. So the ruling, the system of the book, as I've already talked about, its system is that at the end, then it gives you a ruling which you should memorize. Okay. Al-fa'ilu, the doer in Arabic language, the doer of the action, ismun marfu'un, is a noun that ends in dhamma, or a nominative noun. Taqaddamahu ay sabaqahu, it has been preceded, fi'lun, by a verb. Taqaddamahu fi'lun, a verb has preceded it. Wadalla ala, and it refers to alladhi fa'ala al-fi'la. This is a noun that ends in dhamma, or in the nominative case, that is preceded by a verb. So whenever you find a noun that is having dhamma and it has a verb before it, either immediately or a bit after, a bit backwards, and this noun is pointing to, this noun points to the one that did the action. So if I say zahaba al-waladu, the boy is gone. Now you realize I can't tell you zahaba al-walada. I can't tell you zahaba al-walada. I will have to say zahaba al-waladu, the boy is gone. If I say akala al-ustazu, the teacher has eaten. Since he's the one doing it, it should end in dhamma. It should end in the nominative case, which the basic sign of a nominative noun is dhamma. For now, we should memorize this. Now, let's see some practical examples from the Quran as we memorize this definition. Please don't make it pile up. After the lesson, right away, memorize the qaida. So you have al-fi'lu ismun marfu'un taqaddamahu fi'lu dalla ala man qama bil fi'l aw man fa'ala al-fi'la. You should memorize this. Okay. Applicably in the Quran, Surah Tawbah, verse number 3, we will read وَأَذَانٌ بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ. It says وَأَذَانٌ مِنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ إِلَى النَّاسِ يَوْمَ الْحَجِّ الْأَكْبَرِ أَنَّ اللَّهَ بَرِيءٌ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَرَسُولُهُ. You see, so this particularly does not reflect so much of the doer. You will come to see the one that reflects the doer so much. But then let's look at this. It says, أَنَّ اللَّهَ بَرِيءٌ مِنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ وَرَسُولُهُ. You realize that the Rasul coming as a Dhamma, coming with Dhamma, Rasuluhu. Somebody mistakenly read Rasuli and it was a mess in meaning. So Rasuluhu means that is the one in charge of an action. So it's the meaning that goes, and an announcement from Allah and His apostle to the people on the day of the greater pilgrimage, that Allah and His apostle are free. Allah and His apostle, because it comes wa rasuluhu, Allah and His apostle are the one claiming, saying that they are free from the liability of these idolaters. So Rasul coming with Dhamma That is how powerful it is. When you read it with Kesra, you can't translate it as Allah and His Messenger. These vowels, that's what they cause. Now let's look at this. There is this verse in the Quran. You can search it and then look. It's very, very, very interesting. Let me just find the verse number and then give it to you. It's very interesting. That is Surah Baqarah, verse number 251. Surah Baqarah, verse number 251 says, فَهَزَمُوهُمْ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. So they put them to flight by Allah's permission. Hazamuhum, that they defeated them. بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, by Allah's permission. وَقَتَلَ دَاوُودُ جَالُوتَ. Qatala is the verb, killed. And we have Dawudu. And we have another noun again, Jaluta. So you have two nouns coming after the verb. Now, which one is the one who did the killing and who was killed? So you get to know who did the killing because of the Dhamma on the Dawudu. وَقَتَلَ دَاوُودُ. So, Dawood is the one, is the doer, is the fa'il. Since it is ismun marfu'un, it's a noun that has Dhamma. تَقَدَّمَهُ فِعْلٌ, that the verb has preceded. So it is the one that is doing the action. And Jaluta becomes the receiver, which we will learn about soon. Maf'ulun bihi. So this is the fa'il. I hope it's clear. If there is any question, don't hesitate. Ask. As I've said, Nahu is about understanding. You should understand everything very clearly and keep building on it. Okay. Hopefully, we discuss our next lesson soon, inshallah. I hope you have a very good time, good Arabic time. Enjoy your time till we meet again. Bye-bye. And don't forget to share. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.